close those distracting browsers. Close the games that you like to play. Close your personal email tabs. Close the bills that you like to make sure that you're staying on top of and you want to pay your bills, etc. Close the online grocery shopping tab because all of those things are distracting you. And if you have time blocked, then being distracted with these extra clicks that have nothing to do with work will definitely decrease your productivity levels. Hey friends, it's your girl Ati and welcome back to my channel, Ati Tells All, where it's all about business, finance, faith, and lifestyle. If this is your first time ever joining me in my internet space, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can always get notifications when I upload new videos. I want to give a big thank you to all my internet friends who've been watching the videos and also to all my friends who have also subscribed. I see you guys. You're sharing the videos on Facebook, you're sharing the videos on Instagram, and I also see some of my close friends, they're sharing it on their WhatsApp status. I really appreciate you guys. I've been getting a lot of great feedback about the tips that I have in these videos. Don't forget to share them. Continue to share them because there are a lot of people out there who I know could benefit from these videos and these tips. And the more you like and the more you share, it's the bigger the audience that we could reach so that we can uplift and empower everyone in our circles. In today's video, I want to take you through some really helpful tips on how to increase your productivity, especially when you're working from home. We all know what's going on in the world today. A lot of people are working from home even now more than ever. I don't think the internet has ever been this busy. There's so many people online. There's so many people working from home. So today, I want to take you guys through some of those tips that can help us. Some of us are having good experiences, and for some of us, the experience is not so good. For those of you who you feel okay, you're working from home, maybe it's because you're used to it, right? You're grateful for having these employment opportunities that are flexible enough that have allowed you to work from home. So the experience for you, you're sort of used to it, it's not so bad. And then others who have never ever worked from home before, they've always wanted to work from home. They're having the time of their lives. They can just lounge about in the living room or in their makeshift office space in their pajamas, and they're having the time of their lives. For others, not so good. Some people are really struggling. I've been talking to some colleagues and acquaintances of mine, and they're saying, it's so hard, right? What they do miss, they miss going to the office. They miss the stand-up meetings. They miss sitting in, conference rooms and meeting rooms and having one-on-one and face-to-face interactions with their colleagues. So some of them are having a really hard time. Other people are having a hard time just because they're working from home. They have the kids home now, and a lot of kids have a lot of work to do. Some parents are not teachers by nature, so having to teach and work from home, they're really having a hard time, and it's hard to stay on top of things and stay productive. Other people have their spouses at home and they're not used to that, and so that's a whole other story. But regardless, some of us have good experiences, some of us have bad experiences. The common denominator here is productivity. How can we increase our productivity when we're working from home? If you want to see those 8 tips, stick around. The first tip I want to give you guys when you're working from home and how to increase that productivity level is to make a to-do list. Making to-do lists are really, really important. I've been fortunate enough to be able to get that flexibility to work from home on and off throughout most of my career. And I find that when you create a list, it gives you the ability to make sure that you have your finite list of things to do, and it helps you to eliminate the stragglers. So how does it help you when you're working from home? Maybe you're used to using lists, but now that you have to work from home, if you now have that opportunity, how does it work for you? When you're creating your list, you want to make sure that you make it clear as to what your tasks are and also what the tasks are going to be for your children if you do have children at home. So you want to make sure that you're scheduling their little activities. Maybe they have homework, scheduling their quiet time, etc. So that you want to make sure that when you're in your meetings or you really need some focus time, heads down, you're typing away, whatever it is that you do for work, You want to make sure that at your most critical points during the day, the kids have their quiet activities. So you have one list, but you want to make sure that you are able to organize your day so that both yourself, possibly your spouse or your partner, and also your children, everybody falls in your list, especially if it is possible at all for anybody's activities to distract yours. You want to make sure that your lists are accessible. So you can either write your items down on a piece of paper, maybe a notepad that you can always refer to later, so you don't have loose sheets of paper. It's also pretty helpful to use the note section on your mobile device. And I also find that there are some apps that really work. One of my favorite apps to use when I have lists and things to do and I can check them off and mark them complete easily is Asana. I really like Asana because it really helps me to stay organized. When you have your lists, it is important for you to make sure that you are reviewing your lists daily. I think the most productive thing to do is to possibly have a short list of your to-do list for the day as opposed to maybe the week. If you find that having your list for the week is helpful, I would suggest just to keep it very high level, just little bullet points for the week, but you want to get into a lot more detail when it comes to your daily tasks. So organize your tasks and your list in such a way that it's easy for you to review them on a daily basis. The next thing you need to do in order to increase your productivity levels, especially when you're working from home, is to prioritize. So yes, you have your list of things to do. You want to make sure that you're listing the items and the tasks that you must do first. It's very important. Those items that you have to do, they're obviously your most critical items, and you want to make sure that they are at the top of your list as best as you possibly can. The hardest things that we have to do, they tend to be the things that we can knock off very, very quickly. It's proven, it's a fact. I've done that. After you've listed the must-do items, then now you have a little bit more flexibility and you can list the items that you would like to get done. Now, don't get stressed over the items that you would like to do today that you did not end up doing today. What happens with like to do items is if you can't get them done in that same day, they typically roll over to your next day. You want to make sure you have them on the list. But in my experience, I find that items that I didn't get to do maybe yesterday or the day before, as the week goes by, they tend to become the critical ones. And so over time, they just become the must-do items. They become the critical ones, and I have to get them done no matter what. Next tip on how to increase your productivity is to time block. Time blocking is really just the essence of figuring out how much time you have to do a particular item. It gives you a clarity at the end of the day as to how much time you really have. So when you're making your list the night before, it gives you that idea. If you're working 9 to 5, then there's no way for you to time block your tasks that are outside of your 9 to 5 day, right? So you want to be able to time block. An easy way to time block is to just jot down the time you think it'll take you to complete a task beside the task. So you could just say 5 minutes to complete this task, or 15 minutes, or an hour and a half to respond to this block of emails. That will really work. Another way to get this time blocking thing down is to set a timer. If you really want to get through, again, a horrible set of emails, you set the time, you will find yourself not necessarily rushing through it, but you'll be powering through those emails so that you can meet the time span and then you'll be on to the next task. Another important thing in time blocking is taking breaks. So if you find that you need to work in sprints of an hour and a half, or you have to get through a 2-hour sprint of work, you need to take a break. If it is even 5 minutes for you to just get up, take a walk, just, maybe you don't have to go outside. We know what's happening right now. You don't have to go outside. Maybe just get up from your desk and just walk around, get your energy going, get your adrenaline rush a little bit up. And then you sit down again, and now you're back into your time blocking. So when you're time blocking, it's important for you to schedule in very short breaks so that you can just recoup and be re-energized to power through the rest of your day. Here's the next tip on how to help you to increase your productivity is getting rid of distractions. You cannot be productive if you have tons and tons of things that are distracting you. Lots of sound, lots of things to do, lots of places to go, you have to focus. You have to focus and get rid of your distractions. So one of the ways you can do this is to get rid of distracting browsers. So for those of us who are working from home and we're obviously working off of our computers and our laptops, close those distracting browsers. Close the games that you like to play. Close your personal email tabs. Close the bills that you like to make sure that you're staying on top of and you want to pay your bills, etc. Close the online grocery shopping tab because all of those things are distracting you. And if you have time blocked, then being distracted with these extra clicks that have nothing to do with work will definitely decrease your productivity levels. The next thing you can do is turn off the sound on your computer or your laptop. Sounds can be very distracting. Again, when you're time blocking and you're powering through a certain set of work, unnecessary email pings, those are very distracting. Unnecessary instant messaging pings can also be distracting. So once you are in that power through mode and you cannot handle any distractions, turning off your sound is a very great tip. The next thing you want to do is limit the time that you're spending on your mobile device, the time that you're spending on social media, or even the time that you're spending watching the television. So a good way to do this, especially for the television, is to make sure that you're setting up your makeshift workspace. If you don't have a dedicated office area, set up in a room that does not have the television. If the television is not in the room, then you are not going to be distracted or even tempted to just hit that button on the remote or try to change the channel onto something that you're more comfortable with or something that you want to watch. Do not set up your work area in a room where there is a television. Just don't do it. And the next thing when it comes to distractions is, and I know this for me, I can't work if I don't have a clean space or a clear space. My environment has to just be clutter free. If I'm coming downstairs to work, the moment I step off that last step and I look around and I see that the kids have everything all over the place, I can't work. The first thing I have to do is to just call them and tell them, clean that up, get rid of that, clear that up. Otherwise, I won't be able to focus. So make sure that your environment is clutter-free, and that'll help you focus and you can increase your productivity levels. Some of us might be excited to work from home, but working from home can quickly go downhill for your productivity if you're not in a comfortable workspace. So make sure that you're able to sit somewhere that is very comfortable. If you're not used to sitting or you don't like sitting and you're used to using one of those standing areas, make sure that you are comfortable. If you can't get a proper office desk and chair to make sure that you're comfortable, at least use some sort of a cushion to just give you some support in your lower back area, because working from home and sitting in one position all day can really start to take a toll on your body. And because it takes a toll on your body, you'll be so fatigued that your productivity levels they're just gonna plummet. One of the things that can help you to reduce how often you are fatigued and you get really tired with especially looking down at your monitor or your computer or laptop screen is to see if you can get multiple monitors to work with. If it's just even one, especially if you're used to having a secondary monitor while you're in the office, but now you're at home, you only have your computer and you're just looking down, it creates a strain on your neck. So if it is even at least one monitor, see if you can get a hold of that, and that will help you to you'll just keep working and you'll just look at your monitor here or you're looking at your monitor there, and it prevents that strain that you could have on your neck. So that's one of the very important things that can help you to stay above that level of fatigue and continue to be productive. So this one is very important. It's very important to create a routine. For me, it's important that I start my day off right. So set aside time for prayer and meditation in the morning. It's the very first thing that you want to do. You want to make sure that your mind is clear and that you're getting clear direction and you're really setting the tone for the day. The next thing you want to add to your routine is carving out time for exercise and stretching. It's very, very important that you gain that energy and you try to maintain that level of fitness, because now that you're working from home, or you're working from home more than you're used to working from home, you are going to find that you're not getting up to walk around as much as you used to do when you're in the office. So, scheduling time for exercise in the morning is very important. Or if you already have an exercise regime, keep it where you have it in your day. So you either have it in the morning, or you have it in the afternoon, or you have it in the evening or at night. Doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you are carving out time for exercise so you can maintain that level of fitness. As part of creating your daily routine, see how meal planning and meal prepping can work for you. This will help you to organize your meals now that everybody is home, or most people are home, and you're just not used to that. So plan and prep what you're going to have for breakfast, and possibly at least what you're going to have for lunch, and just keep that as part of your routine. At least it minimizes the amount of time that you have to spend in the kitchen now that you're working from home. And what you will find is when you're working from home, it will feel like you have time to do nothing. So see how you can create routines around your daily meals. That'll help. Creating a routine pattern will help you to, achieve that work life balance that sooner rather than later you're going to feel like you're spiraling out of control. You need to have that work life balance. So that way, now that you're working from home all the time, or possibly most of the time, that your family, so your spouses, your husbands and your wives and your children, your moms, your dads, whoever is in the house with you, so that they don't feel like you're just working all the time and you don't have time for them. It's important to spend quality time with your family and your loved ones. This will help them to understand that you're home, but you're working. You're working from home, so you need to create that balance, and they will understand. As long as you have your routine set up, it'll work for you. Here's another thing that can help you to stay on track and be productive. Do not multitask. You just can't multitask. A lot of us like to, we even write it on our resumes sometimes. I'm a great multitasker. No. Now that you're working from home and you might be struggling with how to stay on track with everything, you will realize sooner rather than later that you have to do one thing at a time. So use your list. Use a list that you can visibly check your items off one after the other. Make sure that you're sticking to your time blocking that you've set up for those items. And once you have a list and you're checking them off, you will realize that you can't multitask. You just can't do more than one things at the same time. You might need to pause just to get something done. Maybe you need to run to the kitchen, whatever the case is. But when you do your items one after the other, you complete it and then you move to the next one, you will realize that it's more productive. So here's another important thing. When you're in meetings that maybe you're not a great participant in, or maybe you don't even have to participate at all, you will be tempted to multitask. So you will be tempted to be in that meeting and then continue to work on a couple of other things. Sometimes you can get away with it. I know it works. It happens sometimes. But sometimes you just never know what you're going to miss. Somebody's going to mention something that might not necessarily be directed at you, but you just happen to be the person on the line who can actually give an opinion or help them to solve that particular problem or deal with whatever solution they're trying to come up with. So if you try to multitask, it's actually possible that you're going to miss an important call out in a meeting that you would have been able to contribute to, but you missed it because you were multitasking. So let's try not to multitask and do one thing at a time. The next important thing that we want to make sure that we have in order to increase our productivity levels now that we're working from home is to get enough rest. I cannot stress this enough because I'm one of those type of people who I can sleep for 24 hours, and that's not an exaggeration, guys. I have slept a whole day before, and I have no problem doing it. I like to get enough rest, but it ends up getting too much over time. So, you have to do that in moderation. But in terms of getting up your productivity levels for working from home, get enough rest. Use your half an hour break that you might have throughout your workday and actually use it to rest. If it's your lunch break, eat, maybe as quickly as you can, and just use the next 20 to 30 minutes and just relax. Maybe meditate. Maybe, maybe relaxing for you is catching up on one of your shows or something, but use your break time to really relax, and that'll give you the energy that you would need to power through the rest of your day. Also, getting rest is important to get enough sleep at night. I find that for me, at least 6 to 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep time helps me to get enough rest. And that works for me, and hopefully it'll work for a lot of you guys. Having a consistent sleep schedule is very, very, very important. Sometimes you can also schedule in, let's say, a quick nap here and there. I know for a lot of people, quick naps just don't work. You try to nap for 5 to 10 minutes and you wake up with like a pounding headache and it doesn't work. But if it works for you, try to see if you can schedule in a quick nap, possibly in your break time, to help you to get enough rest and get through your day, because you're just not used to working from home this much. The last thing on our list today on how to increase our productivity levels while we're working from home is to prep for the next day. Yes, prep for the next day. You start to prep for your next day by looking at the list that you had for today and making sure that you have checked off as much of the important tasks and items as you possibly can. If you have not yet completed everything, but your work day is over, make sure that you're transferring those items to the next day. And like I said before, possibly these transferable items will actually end up at the top of your list for the next day. So review your list. While you're reviewing your list, it gives you the opportunity to see what worked well and what didn't work so well for you. And it allows you to take mental notes of what you can do better and possibly just what works for you. And it keeps you continuing to get to achieve that level of productivity while you're working from home now. And so there you have it, guys. I hope this video will help you to increase your productivity levels, because now that a lot of people are working from home, some of us just don't know how to get through the day. Some of us are used to working from home, but now that we're here every single day, it could be a daunting task. So I hope this video will help you. Feel free to share it with all your friends who you know are working from home and could do very well with some of these tips. Don't forget to like this video, share it. Again, I want to thank all the people who have been watching these videos and sharing them. Share them on your WhatsApp status to your close friends. Share them on Instagram. Share them on Facebook. So continue to be productive, and until then, it's Ati Tells All.